Today we talk about recovery in a familiar environment and second chances. We now jump to the time between the first and the second missionary journey. Paul and Barnabas have been working together for a while, and they prepare for the second missionary trip. Sometime later, Paul said to Barnabas, "Let us go back and visit the believers in all the towns where we preach the word of the Lord and see how they are doing." So the preparation. And then Barnabas wanted to take John, also called Mark, with them, but Paul did not think it wise to take him because he had deserted them in Pamphylia and had not continued with them in the work. They had such a sharp disagreement, Paul and Barnabas, that they parted company. Barnabas took Mark and sailed to Cyprus. Paul chose Silas and left, commended by the believers to the grace of the Lord. So Paul and Barnabas, who had worked closely together, now had a sharp disagreement about whether to take John Mark on the next journey. Member Care topic today is interpersonal conflict, failure, and second chances. A big topic in missionary teams, mission agencies, sending churches, families, and missionary marriages. So we have the first mission trip. Paul and Barnabas went together, plus a few companions were there as well. Let's say it was between 1 and 2 years long, this missionary journey, together every day. Part of the companion was John Mark. According to Colossians, he was the cousin of Barnabas. So they were related, cousin Barnabas and John Mark. And John Mark deserted them in Pamphylia. He returned to Jerusalem and did not continue. Exact reasons are not clear, but Paul viewed this as abandonment, really, of the mission. Very strong words. He deserted us. I felt abandoned, or he abandoned us, kind of sense, and they prepare for the second mission trip, which means another 2 years together, 1 or 2 years together. Imagine hardship, storms, persecution, and so on, and you need to rely on your brothers and sisters who go with you. Paul is saying, no way will I allow this guy to join me again, like John Mark. He left, he deserted us, no way will I. And Barnabas is saying, come on, let's give him a second chance. And so they were fighting over this. You probably know and have been in teams in which you have team members who don't fit well. Come on, I wish this guy would move back home. Doesn't he see that he doesn't fit? And then you have the project-oriented or goal-oriented people who say, you cannot join, you don't fit. And then you have the pastoral people who connect and ask questions, who love, who believe in the good intentions, and who give second chances. Which side are you on? Which side? We usually have a tendency to one side. I must say, in my early years in missions, I was very goal-oriented, and I worked under a leadership from Singapore who was very pastoral, Barnabas-like. He had faith in everyone. Amazing. And throughout the years of working together, I learned so much through him and from him. I learned about grace, extending grace. I started being less judgmental about people, less goal-oriented, and I started to be more people-oriented, having faith in people. Or better, trusting God will take care of people. I don't need to do that. God does that, and I trust God that He will take care of people. You see what I mean? So Barnabas here takes John Mark back to Cyprus. I presume here Barnabas' cousin was also from Cyprus, just like Barnabas, back home. So Barnabas takes John Mark back home, back to family. Not joining ministry, not traveling around the world for 1 or 2 years, but spending time at home in a familiar community, eating around a familiar dinner table, eating familiar food, sleeping in a familiar house, speaking a familiar language. We call this rest and relaxation today. Community-based member care today, we call this. I presume they were talking about, while at home, about the mission trip and Paul and what happened to you with Paul. What is the Holy Spirit saying? It's kind of a debriefing. How did you grow through this experience and what does God want you to do next? a phase of restoration, a phase of debriefing, of process, a phase of rest and relaxation, and leading to a phase of second chances. But this opportunity, this pastoral member care opportunity, needs people who continue to believe in you, even though you failed, you messed up, you feel guilty, even though some people reject you, never again with you. You feel shame, you feel guilt, and you might even feel that you disappointed God. God can never use me again. And this is where member care providers like Barnabas come in. And he took John Mark to a safe place, connected with him, understood with him, and then encouraged him to continue. Recovery in a familiar environment among family, community-based member care, Barnabas gave him another chance. Later, Mark became a valuable partner in Paul's ministry. He's mentioned in 2 Timothy 4 again, and Barnabas' belief in him and his care for him paid off. Paid off. His investment in John Mark paid off, and he's mentioned later, continues to work with Paul. Second chances. Amazing member care work. Amazing member care testimony here. Has anyone in ministry given to you a second chance? Have you given people a second chance, or even have you invested yourself in people's recovery, rest and relaxation in familiar environments? Please share what that was like for you and reflect on the lessons you learned from it. Barnabas, the member care provider with an attitude of generosity and sacrificial giving. Barnabas involved in mediation and advocacy for the people of God. Barnabas, the encourager during field visits. Barnabas, the networker and trainer. And today, Barnabas, who invests in people's recovery in a familiar environment and in second chances. Barnabas, an example in the New Testament for a God-led missionary care provider.